Hey Valley Girls! I have a new episode of The Pull List where I review the comic books I picked up this week. They were brought to you by my own personal works that I write and make myself for you to read and enjoy. Like this book. This is Davida. This is my big, fat, thick vampire novel. That's super awesome. Check it out at the link below. And let's get going with some comic reviews. I picked up 4 books this week. 3 from Marvel and 1 from Kaboom. The graphic novel, the original graphic novel, Steven Universe Too School for Cool. It is very awesome. I've read the first half of it, so I'm not going to really be reviewing it today. I'm going to do a separate video for that within a couple of days. So be on the lookout for that. And by the way, I recommend picking it up just based on what I've read. But we are going to talk about 3 Marvel books. And let's get started with Black Widow! Black Widow! And let's see, this is issue 2 by Mark Waid and Chris Sini. And, okay, yeah, last month, I should say. Didn't really give too much explanation of what's going on. It just threw us into the situation of Black Widow apparently stealing something off the helicarrier and escaping. This month, we go back in time, I believe 1 week ago, where she is on a mission trying to protect Maria Hill, but it was she who was the actual target. It's called a switcheroo. And she apparently has been captured by this villain, codenamed the Weeping Lion, and he has tons of hard files, like actual paper with information on them that people can look at, that can't be deleted, although it can be burned, now that you think about it, on Black Widow, and tons of information that is not public that he can make public if she breaks into the helicarrier and steals something, which is something we've already seen happen, so we know that kind of went a little messy. This is an excellent setup. I really dig the fact that, we got the first scene, which is sort of like a pre-credits movie scene, frankly, in the first issue. And then we backed it up with this explanation of what's going on. The art by Sini is just beautiful and gorgeous. And my favorite, frankly, is this whole scene, which takes up most of the book, at the funeral of a fellow agent, where she is picking off enemy agents that she thinks are after Maria Hill. Very cool. Loved a lot. I'm going to give this one 5 Ram Chips. Awesome book so far. 2 out of 2. And we're over here at Spider-Man, Miles Morales. Spider-Man, number 3. And this is by Brian Michael Bendis and Sarah Pichelli. And last we saw Miles, he had been on a whirlwind adventure with the Avengers and Spider-Man, Peter Parker Spider-Man, fighting the demon Blackout, saving the city, and coming home to get an earful from his grandmother. See, his grades had been suffering due to him being Spider-Man and everything. So his mom calls her mom, who is a supreme hard ass, so she comes down on him like a ton of bricks. She's pretty convinced he either sells drugs or does drugs or both or whatever. She takes his phone, which actually has all his Avengers contacts, which nowadays, something that's kind of cool with the other teen superheroes in Marvel, particularly Miss Marvel, is their superhero contacts are on their phone. Actually, to be honest, I do that with Red Knight. Modern world. And yeah, that's kind of bad for him. Luckily, his phone contacts are coded, so she really wouldn't know. But, I mean, he can't get contacted by Iron Man in case, I don't know, the world blows up or something. He gets a visit from Miss Marvel, and they have a cute exchange. I think this is the first time I've seen Brian Michael Bendis write Miss Marvel, and she's absolutely adorable as usual. Meanwhile, there's this plot cooking up with the Black Cat. Not quite happy about how many spider people are suddenly in New York. She's always had a dicey relationship with Peter Parker, and she's not happy that there's a whole bunch of new Peter Parkers running around, some of them female. And she wants this Miles Morales dead, and she goes to Hammerhead. Wow, I really like Brian Michael Bendis' take on Hammerhead. And Sarah Pichelli's art style of him is really nice and modern and realistic. Because, I don't know if you're too familiar with this character, but he has been traditionally drawn like, let's see, like a Frankenstein, old-timey mobster kind of character. He looks generally in the 70s kind of ridiculous. But he looks very cool here, just with a bigger head, but not too unusual, that you probably could see in real life if somebody put a giant plate in someone's head. Anyway, it's comic books, what the hell. But yeah, this is really cool, and at the end of the issue, a mutant, Gold Balls, shows up. And yes, that's his name, from one of the recent Brian Michael Bendis XMen books. Shows up in his class, so we're going to get a whole heaping handful of Gold Balls. That's his real name, so I'm sorry. Excellent as usual. I dig this book. It's so great reading a Spider-Man book again. I love the 5 RAM chips. And let's go over to the Uncanny Avengers. Now, this is issue 8, and the team on this one is Jerry Duggan and Ryan Stegman. Now, I'm not a regular reader of Uncanny Avengers because I just don't have that much money to spread around. Although this is a really cool team setup, and I'm liking the creative team on this. I think they're doing a really good job. I bought this because this is another chapter in the Standoff story arc, where last we met the Avengers and the Uncanny Avengers. They had encountered different Maria Hills that suckered them into like a trap. And they're both sucked into this kind of holographic prison that you think you're in some kind of like Pleasantville setup. This place called Pleasant Hill. And let's see, it mostly focuses on Rogue, which is cool. That's my favorite X-Men anyway. Where we get to see her in her daily life as this new kind of brainwashed citizen of this town. But there's something nagging at her, and she just can't figure out what. And she keeps seeing X's over and over. And then we flash to this really cool scene of her being a younger X-Men, being taught by Professor X how to deal with psychic attacks. And this is basically like a psychic attack. And how to realize that you're really trapped in some imaginary dreamlike world and how to pull yourself out of it. It's very cool, and a very cool way of using the X-Men and their psychic powers, because it was like a school that trained you how to do powers better. Anyway, she unites the other 2 Avengers teams. Very cool, and very neat to see how they were set up. Deadpool in particular looked like this kind of Tom Selleck fireman guy, and he was very unhappy when he really realized that he didn't look like that anymore. I love his line. I love how he hates Connecticut, which is hilarious. This is really cool. It's a lot of setup. It's basically getting the band back together and finding out where these characters were brought in, only to face the villain at the end. This is a pretty fun storyline so far. I've been enjoying it. It's not a major... I don't see this as being a big, earth-shattering, continuity-shifting kind of, giant storyline. I'm just liking it. So I'm going to give this one 4 solid RAM chips. Dug it a lot. Not too bad this week. I will be getting back to you, like I said, either tomorrow or the next day with a review of Steven Universe 2 School for Cool. And I think that's it for now. Push the button, Lindsay.